Lesson 32, The Little Project. This is the story of a family project. We want to put all of the tools of the scientific method together and show you how they can be used. As we tell this story, you will need a sheet of paper to hide the answers for each exercise. The answers are in the text. Cover this page and slide the piece of paper down until you reach the word exercise. Answer the question in the exercise and then slide the paper down to reveal the answer. The idea. It is the year 2020, and Mr. Little has quit his job at Consolidated Computer Corporation. Bingo is back from an engineering apprenticeship, and Bonnie says she'll help too. The project? Mr. Little wants to design a little computer. Bingo asks, So, Dad, where do we start? Exercise. What scientific tool would be good for starting a project like this? Brainstorm, Mr. Little says. We need a productive brainstorming session, like when Mom makes us hot chocolate and we solve the problems of the world. By supper time, the room is cluttered with coffee cups and sticky notes, but everyone feels good about the project. Bingo has his legs propped against the wall. So we all agree this computer needs to be revolutionary and something the consumers want. And we're tired of these huge computers the size of a book. Bonnie finishes, We're tired of using a keyboard. We suspect lots of people feel the way we do. Mrs. Little comments, So this brainstorm session has given us a hypothesis. It's given us a goal. This is a good start, but we need more than a hunch about what people want. We need hard facts. Exercise. What is a tool for transforming hunches into hard facts? Experiment, Mr. Little suggests. We could ask prospective customers what they think the ultimate computer would be today. After a day of brainstorming, it's time for supper, but the Little family had a plan of action. Mrs. Little begins listing friends who fit the profile for their future customers. But Bonnie points out that Mr. Pringle across the street has managed a market company before. He might have some suggestions. They invite him over. Exercise. When the Little family invites Mr. Pringle over, what tools are they using? Peer review, Mr. Pringle says enthusiastically. It's a good thing to have in a situation like this. You're starting on the right foot. Like I've always said, a bird in hand is like two under the bridges behind you, or... Yes, Mr. Little interrupts. But didn't you have some suggestions, Bob, for how we could conduct a survey? We have never done that sort of thing. Well, Bob Pringle mused, suburban families and growing businesses purchase most new computers. We could go door to door to hear what people want, and you could talk to the information technology officer at a few growing companies to learn what sort of computers they're looking to buy. The Littles do just that. A week later, they have plenty of data on paper. Bingo says, I've talked to hundreds of people, and I've heard many opinions. How are we going to find what this data is saying? Exercise. What should the Littles do with all the data that they have gathered? Analyze this data. We can make graphs and look for patterns in the information, Mrs. Little answers. She and Bonnie read through the consumer opinions, list the most common opinions, and count these. In the end, they find that most consumers say they want a laptop that is reliable, has a keyboard, has a screen, has a pencil sharpener, they can put it in their pocket, and they can talk to. Mrs. Little rubs her forehead. I'd say this doesn't confirm our hypothesis, but at the same time, it does. What do you say, Dad? Mr. Little replies, I'd say our customers are pretty choosy. They want a keyboard and a pencil sharpener, but they want it to fit in their pocket. I quit my job at the company because they weren't open to new ideas. I suspect our customers would give up a keyboard and a pencil sharpener in exchange for the other things they want. Bonnie observes, maybe the customers gave us a clue. They'd mentioned they'd like to talk to their computer, Dad. Can we do that? Exercise. What is a good tool for answering this question? Research, Mr. Little answers. Why don't we visit the University of Nebraska Library and spend some time on the internet, researching computer technology? We'll learn the feasibility of an audio user interface. The Littles do just that, and after some late nights and a lot of reading, they conclude their idea will work. The prototype. Bonnie's department is to emulate the human voice. She wants the computer to talk the way humans do. Exercise. What tool would help emulate the human voice? Observation. Bonnie uses an audio technology to record and study how humans talk and understand each other. She works with her dad to design a neutral network to recognize the subtleties of the human voice and stimulate the brain's activity to understand language. Bingo's job is to fold the large video screen that customers demand into a box small enough to fit into a pocket. His challenge isn't the internal computer components such as the CPU or the hard drive. These are made by other companies. He is shaping the LCD composite materials to fold together like an accordion. And when he's done, Bingo is considered about durability. Mrs. Little comments, "Dear, you're being too perfectionist. We have a deadline. I'm sure it's good enough." Bingo replies, "But Ma, I don't know anything about what I'm doing. I'm certain I've missed something." Exercise. How can Bingo alleviate his worries? Peer review and testing. Mr. Pringle suggests letting Robbie, their dog, chew on one of the prototypes. If it still works after the dog test, it'll survive any abuse. A reluctant Bingo watches Robbie chew on his work, but after a few hours, Bingo can't find any scratches. Bingo's confidence is up. The end. The Little Computer Company is celebrating the sale of the first little computer with a picnic. A circle of friends and family sit around Mr. Pringle as he demonstrates his new computer. Marketing this product will be harder than designing it. "You might think about hiring me," Mr. Pringle hints. Mr. Little says he'll think about it. Mr. Pringle holds up hands for silence. A young lady appears on your TV screen. Out of her pocket, she takes a little box. It slides open with ease. A warm, fuzzy face appears on the surface. "Hi, I'm Herbal the Verbal Gerbil, and I love to answer questions."